Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I kind of want to talk about something that I know not only just plagues me, but plagues a lot of people, and some things to think about on why we're struggling. And if you're a person that's like, I'm not struggling, everything's perfect in my life, who are you? Like, please share share us with that intense wisdom that you're just perfect every day and everything is just so great and everything is just amazing. Everything in your life just turns into perfection, and everything everyone you talk to just turns into being great. It's an interesting thing that's not what real is. We got a lot of fakeness out here that wants to portray and be that, but that's not real. And a lot of times I believe that we as humans are struggling because we're looking at a fake show and thinking that that's real. That's how they are all the time. Especially like when it first started, the MySpace stuff started, then the Facebook stuff, and now the Instagram stuff. Most of the stuff we're like comparing our lives to a picture. You know how fast a picture is compared to the whole 24 hours of a day? You're not seeing everything that's going on. And you not being able to see everything going on gets you to start thinking. It gets you to start wondering and questioning. And I believe that that's a part of the process that starts to make a lot of people start to go downhill. Because you start to think about things that you need not to be thinking about. You start to question your own self with things that you shouldn't be questioning about. Because we're seeing something as if it's so perfect. And we're looking at our life and thinking, why isn't it mine that way? How come my stuff isn't acting this way? How come my stuff isn't that way? And that can set you on a very, very downward path in reality. So something that I want a lot of people to really think about is, are you cool with being around just yourself? Because if you're not cool with being by yourself, why would you want to introduce anything to be around you? Because all that's going to happen is you're going to start to see all the problems and the things around you. Because something fascinating that goes on with pretty much like, I'm going to say every relationship in a social type setting. That's why dogs and horses are interesting compared to us as humans. Because we're all very social in a very similar type of way. That when we all start to get together, we start to do stuff together, we start to hang out together, we all start to act the same way. This is why I hope that, because my parents told me this, I hope that we can all explain this to somebody, whether they listen or not. But who you hang around is who you're going to be like. So if you're hanging around the bad crowd, you're going to start to be that. I don't care who you think you are, that you're like, I'm not that. And this is a thing for, man, a lot of men pay very close attention to the girl's friends that she hangs out with. If all her friends are away, just know that she is away. Same with all your ladies out there with the guys. The guys hanging out and paying attention to his friends, and they're always going to say, I'm not like them. I just hang out with them, though, but I'm not like them. That's not true. What's true is who we hang around the most starts to become like us. And this is a thing for a lot of people where being a parent is hard, very hard, because your children start to act like you and you can't stand your own self. So then you have a living being that's looking at you that now you just, in reality, are really, really frustrated with. And this is the thing with a lot of people with your dogs. Your dog starts to be like you. And when it starts to be like you, it starts to show you things that you're trying to hide, but you can't hide it. But you sure can hide it when you post that picture. Everything is fun, everything is pretty, everything is just the best of the best. You sure can. Like even right now. Look at this. This is a perfect picture. This boy just sitting here, all happy looking, all just like, this just looks like bliss right here. It's like, wow, look how amazing this is. And I'm showing you 10 seconds or so. So you get 10 seconds of seeing what this dog looks like. You're like, wow, that's nice. And I can post that video, post that little short thing and say, life is so peaceful, life is so calm. As opposed to, that's what I'm saying. If you don't need a dog like that, please just stay away from them. But I need him. And when I hear him bark at night, I sleep better. It might sound weird because it's backwards. Usually a barking dog keeps you up at night. But that barking dog lets me know everything at night is safe. I'm good to go. And I can show that and say, oh, it's so calm. But in reality, to 99% of y'all, hearing him bark at night would drive you insane. You would be going insane. So I'm going to show you an image of something, but that's not the reality of everything that's going on. It's the part that I just want to show you. And that's the hardest thing, I think, on why we're struggling with relationships today. You know, the shelters are full of dogs. The divorce going like crazy, rampant in pretty much all of the world at this moment. It's no longer just the United States of America. We're struggling in relationships because we're not working on the one thing that we need to work on, ourselves. We're not happy and satisfied with being with our own self. So the first thing we do when we're not happy with ourselves is we try to get something else. And then when you try to get something else, I don't know why the world works this way, people. I don't know why the world looks, it's very strange. But when you try to get something else, thinking like, oh, I'm going to, because this is the thing that I believe a lot of people struggle with, where you're like, if I put myself in the right crowd, I will change and be like them. It doesn't quite work like that, because that crowd is going to reject you. And then you're going to go back to the crowd that you should be in. So if you're like, I'm looking for a spouse, I'm looking for a wife or a husband, I'm going to find that good one, and that good one is I'm going to start to become like that. No, they're going to reject you. They're going to push you away. Whatever group you get into, they're going to start to be like you. You're not going to be like them. And that's what I believe challenges a lot of people, because you think that this is why, to me, folks, you know, I believe my Bible, but I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use it just to be frank. I reject most all churches, because that's what church does. You think that you're going to go there and get better, but actually all you're doing is going there and double downing into all of your issues. Because most cases, the church you go to that you just don't feel comfortable, you don't feel comfortable because you're getting rejected from being at their, I don't want to use these words, but it's just the easiest way to say it, at their level of thinking. Their thinking is different, where you're in this like, I want to get good, thinking I'm going to come here and get good, but all that's going to happen is you're going to get extremely, you're going to get forced out. You're not going to be able to deal with it. And you're going to go back to the one that makes you feel good. And the one that makes you feel good, you're only just staying in your misery. You're not actually getting anywhere. That's why the biggest thing that last video, I stayed 100% facts in reality with just what I see going on. Why the doctors can't help you, your friends can't help you, your spouse can't help you, your work can't help you, the medicine can't help you, the church can't help you. You're having issues that none of this stuff is able to help you. None of it can help you, because all that you're doing is seeking that advice, seeking that stuff to help you, that is only just further putting you into misery. That's why I know, everyone I speak to in my face-to-face, friends, family, anyone, they all reject me. And I used to get my feelings about that until I realized in reality why people reject me. Because I'm on something completely different, a completely different way of living in these lands. This is what's neat about the internet stuff, because I can find more people all scattered out compared to finding a group of people like in my city that are kind of all on the same page. It's getting more challenging today, because we're also focused on these phones. We're also focused on a fake image and not worrying about actually fixing yourself. Because what comes in is someone says to you something that makes you go downhill. You know, something that was said to me in reality as a young kid of, you know, I'm shy, I'm timid, I'm quiet. Granted, I am pretty quiet. I've been talking in this video. Clearly, I got to talk to be able to say something. But in my day-to-day, I don't speak. I don't talk. I don't talk to the dogs. I don't talk. That's why when I speak, my dogs are all like, "Hey, what's going on?" Because I'm saying something. And that's why when I make my videos, they all pretty much just disappear, because they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, this guy's making sounds. I don't know what to do. I don't talk. I don't speak to anybody. I don't speak anywhere I go. I'm just listening to everything around me. But someone was saying that I'm shy and I'm timid, and saying that in a sense that in reality being negative. And it forced me to what's wrong with me? As opposed to just like realizing that there's nothing wrong with me. But there's always going to be someone that says something to you that gets you to like I don't know. Oh, that's a perfect way of saying it, because that's a huge issue with a lot of y'all ladies today. Someone says to you that your nose looks funny. You never cared about it your whole life. But now all of a sudden, you can't get your focus away from it. Now that's all that you see when you look in the mirror. Now you're just like, I got to fix it, I got to do something. And it was never a worry for you your whole existence of life until somebody said something to you like that. And then now you can't get away from it. Your whole world is consumed in that. Now you're looking at pictures of everybody, looking at everyone's noses. You're stuck in it. You can't get the heck away from it. And that's the part that I want to say, that's what we need to work on, is being satisfied with yourself. and not caring and worrying about what someone else is going to say to be able to make you feel good, make you feel happy. That you have to be able to do that on your own. That's personally me. Like when it even comes down to dating, I hear that so much from so many young ladies today. You need to be able to make me happy. If you can make me happy, our relationship's going to be good. You know that no one in this planet can make anyone else happy. Only you can make your own self happy. And we're stuck with this information thinking that something out there should be able to bring us happy and joy. And that's where we're struggling. That's what I want more people to really just start to work upon with you. Because everything around you is going to start to become you. And everything around you, for one, when it starts to become you and you can't stand yourself, you're going to have to reject it. That's why today, like I said, relationships are failing. Because we're bringing in somebody, best case scenario, thinking that they're going to help you, but they're actually not. Because I want to say that they can help you if you accept the help, but they're not going to be able to help you because you're going to reject it. Because they're showing you what's wrong with you, straight up. This is why I believe the dog issue today is tragic in reality. Because at least another human being, they can go live off and do what they do and go find you anew and go live anew. But the dogs don't. They just end up in the shelter. They end up going to prison. It's like, imagine every time, if you ever had a divorce, you go to prison. You don't get to go buy a new house, do anything. You go to prison. You get kicked out, you go to prison. Like, that's horrible. That's a horrible existence. And it's happening because you're seeing stuff in your face that just you can't stand. And then you start to turn into hate. You start to just you just start to hate the animal. You start to hate the people that are around you. And then instead of taking a self-reflection of what am I doing here, you say, it's all your fault, all your problem. Get out of my life. Get out of here. And then once you get it out, you get this sense of like, oh man, life is good. Life is good again now. Life is awesome. But then what starts to happen is all of the insecurities and you start to explode again because you were able to blame everything while it was in your face. But once it's gone, now you're in this free floating of, I don't know what to do. And that's where the anxiety comes. That's where paranoia comes. That's where thoughts of harming yourself come. That's where you start to spiral downhill because you're looking out there as opposed to looking in. And when you have to start to look in, man, I'm telling you, that's the start of going to be the most difficult thing in your life in reality. But that's the part with me where you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. That's the part that a lot of people want to reject today that unfortunately, like, I don't know why, but church just doesn't talk about. They don't talk about how to actually like get in a better place. They talk about how to get them in a good place. You give money. That's how you get money. If you do works, you help out. Someone's going to come and help you out. That's not true. That's not true. You have to be able to do all of that on your own, within your own self. And if you can't do it within your own self, who are you to help anybody? You have nothing in reality to be able to help. That's the biggest thing on why for me, I've been quiet my whole life. I haven't been able to help anybody. My own self, not wanting to be alive, always trying to harm myself physically, always trying to, what's the word to use there? Sabotage myself all the time in every scenario. Who am I to help anybody? What am I to speak, to be able to give out, to be able to give anybody any sort of advice when no advice I can't even take and accept my own self? And my own self is headed to absolute disaster. And that's why, as weird as it is, I could talk about these dogs because I've done stuff with them that I'm like, I can see the real results from it. Not some fake wannabe TV show stuff, but actually something actually happening from it. So I can talk about that. I talk about things that have been able to help me out. And the main thing that I really want people to really understand how to be able to help you out with is calling upon God in a way to be able to help you out with what you're struggling with, what you're lacking in. That, in my opinion, that's the only thing that's going to be able to get you through your misery. Because what we're doing today is destructive. We're just using stuff to try to feel better. We're using Instagram to try to feel better because someone made fun of your nose, so now you're going on there making fun of them. Somebody made fun of your dog, so now you're going on every videos with a dog on it to try to make fun of them. You're poking at everything instead of poking at your own self, which is hard. But you don't have to do it alone. But don't rely on an animal. Don't rely on a human. Don't rely on anything of this world, in this world, to be able to help you through that. That's where you're going to rely upon God. And I want to add more to that and say the name of Jesus. I know a lot of people don't like that name. They got all these different names and all this different stuff, but that name is I'm going to say universal for us to understand exactly what his message is all about. Because you're relying on things on this planet to make you feel better. And in my opinion, it's in my experience, it's short-lived. You get a dose here and there. It's like drugs. Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and TV shows and movies, it's drugs. You're addicted. You're addicted to it that you can't get away from it. And then when you finally get a small little dose of like things are looking good, you feel good for a little while. That's the concept of people being addicted to dog training videos. Because you think that once I get my dog good, things are going to be good. But then you get the dog good and you realize, no, it's not good. And this is the whole multiple dogs thing that I'm really, really understanding, especially when you don't have a need. Like when I say a need, I mean like a working need. If you have a farm that you need like 5 dogs to guard and protect and 5 dogs to move animals, you know, that's a need. If you've got like I don't even know what else of a need that you need multiple dogs for. But most cases, like we scratch that itch of like, I finally got it. And then you get the second. Then the second goes right back to chaos and it puts you right back in this like, you got to figure it out because you actually didn't fix the problem, the core problem, the problem that's going on with you, the problem that's inside of you, that you're trying to project out to everyone else, to everything else, to try to be able to fix you, and you can't. You can't. If you don't trust yourself, you don't respect yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't appreciate yourself, how are you possibly going to love, cherish, appreciate anything else around you? It's the stuff that, in reality, if I knew it when I was much younger, probably wouldn't have changed because that's just what we do as kids. We mess up, and we have to learn. We gotta mess up to be able to figure things out. But if someone would have said to me, you know, why are you even dating, Anthony? Why are you even getting into this? Because you're messed up, dude. You're clearly like, your mind is like just so messed up. You're so destructive. Why are you even considering putting yourself around someone else like that? You know, that's something that a lot of us should really, really think about. Really think about. Like, really think about before we go out and just do. Because we're going to end up destroying something else around us. We're going to end up just making everything around us be just devastated. And that's the unfortunate thing of, in my opinion, why we have these huge problems where women are trying to be mad at men, and because men have been treating women like garbage. Because men haven't been feeling good, feeling confident, feeling secure with themselves. And when you're not, you're going to push that off to something else. And then you're going to see that in your spouse, and then your spouse is going to start to be like you. And then you're going to have no choice but to have to destroy her. You have no choice because you can't have that around you. You just can't do it. And then now that's why we have such division today. It's something as simple as that. Well, we got division in everything today based on that core fundamental that I'm just seeing, that we are not happy with ourselves and we're expecting something else to be able to help us. And then when we put all of our faith in that something of the world and it fails us, now I want to destroy it. Now I want nothing to do with it. That comes down to politics even. That comes down to everything. Because you thought it was going to help you. You thought the president was going to come in and it was going to make your life just amazing. They promised all these things when they were trying to get elected, and then they got elected, and then nothing happened in your life, and you actually watched things go downhill. Now you hate that person. Now you can't stand them. Now everything you thought was great and wonderful about them, now you want to get them the heck out of here, to the point that you wish death upon some folks. Just, I mean, seriously, turn the news on today and listen to how these people are talking. Listen to how these protests are going on and all the stuff that's happening today. Because you thought that someone was going to help you. But no one and nothing of this world is going to be able to help you. You need to call upon something much, much greater to be able to help you. And then once you're able to get that help from that something that's much, much greater than just this world, then you're going to be able to look at the world completely differently. You're not going to look at it in the sense of needing to be able to feel good. You're never going to be perfect, but be good. Stumbles and things are going to happen, but you're not going to like just stay in it and stay stuck in it. You're going to be able to move from it. And it may take you a little bit longer to get out of some things compared to other things, but you're going to be able to get out of it. And that's the beauty, I believe, of understanding that fixing things around you is not going to fix you, but working upon your own self is what's going to be able to fix you. There's so many people out that are, it's like the people pleasers and all this stuff, that you think that if I get everything else happy, then I'll finally be happy. It makes me happy to make you happy. That's evil at the end of the day. That's not, and we try to cheer it on today as if that's like we're doing something good, but that's coming from an evil mindset in reality. Of I'm going to help you to be able to try to make myself feel better. I want to help the dog. This the part where I'm talking crazy sometimes, but just straight up, how the SPCA and the little videos that come on to try to show the dogs are all so scared and so timid and trying to get you to react and do. It's evil intentions is what's going on there. They're trying to get in your emotions, making you think that if you do this, it's going to make you feel better. And that's not true. It's not true. And if it does make you feel better, I'm telling you, have a real hard look at yourself. What's actually going on with you? What's going on with you? If you have to try to give to make yourself feel better, what's going on with you? What's happening with you right now? That's not healthy. That's not how we should be living. You should just give to just give. Not because you're giving because you want to get something else in a better place. No, you should just give because you want to, because it's in you to just want to do that. But that's not how most of this world works anymore. You know, I'm going to say maybe it never worked officially that way, but that's the way it should be working. Because when you just give to give, you just want to want, you're not doing it in a way of manipulation. You're just doing it because you just enjoy it. And unfortunate thing, we got a lot of billionaires today that are trying to help, but their help isn't helping, as a lot of us can actually see and we're living with today. The help isn't actually getting us better. The help is getting them better. And they need that to feel better. And they need to keep doing that because they're lacking something inside. They're lacking a core understanding of themselves. So they think that if they do all this good stuff, then they're going to be looked upon as being a good person. But the good stuff that they do, it's not actually good. It's not actually good for anything, for anybody. It's just good to try to make them make up for what's lacking in them. And that's something, again, where I question a lot with these dogs with people. You try to make the dog look so good and look so perfect and put so much on it to try to make it perform so much. What are you lacking in that you need that? Because when you start to put all that pressure out there, you're going to start to be around something that is just you. I'm going to use this word, but just whatever. Empty inside. You think that you got emotions, but you actually don't have emotions. You're trying to create them. You're trying to make them up. You're trying to mimic something else to try to come up with who you are, because you don't know who you are. And again, I believe one of the biggest problems we have is an identity crisis. Folks don't know who you are. You can't just be. And this past 20 years has been fascinating to be able to be alive in. Just seeing how it's just weird. This is weird to me. I like to go more and more public places today just to see how empty people are, how emotional, soulless people are today. Because this is just the world today right now. I can't go to a restaurant and not see a child with a huge screen in their face the whole time. The children they don't know who they are. They're trying to mimic everything that they see. And then they're trying to feel good, feel good, feel good. And then you need that to even just be able to function. That you can't function any other way. Because the thing I'm going to say is, we're not doing the hard work required on our own selves anymore. We're just escaping. And the world is making it easy to escape today. I mean, look at this. A lot of these video games we got today. Man, oh my goodness. So many guys, y'all playing these games, man. 10 hours, 12 hours a day playing video games. And just going deep on your game. Neglecting everything in your life to just be on this game all day. You're escaping something. And then you're nagging everyone around you that's talking about who you playing these games. And you're just destroying your life right now. because we're escaping. Now we got all this virtual stuff that we're trying to push. The world is being hard about making sure that you're not able to live anymore. And it's going fast track right now. It's going fast track. Because the biggest thing I want to say and try to explain to as many people as possible is we need to unplug a little bit from it all. We need to get away from it and start to look at our own selves just dead on, and stop listening to the outside noises and realize that you just need to listen to yourself. Because that's one thing that I believe is a biggest challenge to us, is being able to listen to what someone has to say to you and being able to just like, oh, okay, whatever, and move on. That's so difficult. It's so difficult. That's why we have so much today to be able to purchase. Unfortunate, y'all ladies and young ladies today are living a very toxic, evil world right now to you. Because everyone is telling you how you should look. Everyone is telling you how you should behave and what you should wear. And I mean, same with the guys out here as well. What kind of car you should have, what kind of work, what kind of money you need, how tall you should be. Like like a man can control how tall or short he is. Like control all of that. Like there's just, if you don't look this way, then you're not going to be able to. And then you're trying so hard to like make up, as opposed to just saying, I don't care, whatever. That's what you think, whatever. And start to learn how to be secure with your own self. Realizing that all that is just absolutely meaningless. All that is pointless. All that is fake. All that is not real at all. And really understand that there's just no one on these lanes that just they're so perfect they got a good. And no one can ever make enough money to just be happy. That's why people don't stop accumulating it. That's why people don't stop buying stuff. You think that once you have the house, you're going to be good? No, you want the second now. Once you have the second, I need the third. You got the third, I need the fourth, the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 10th, 50th. I need to buy more. You just can't stop because you're lacking something significant inside of yourself. You don't know how to just be happy and content. You need more. You need to change how you look. You need to change how you speak. You need to change everything about you so that someone would be able to recognize and see you. Because your own self, you can't see your own self. You look in the mirror and you're not looking at you. You're looking at what people want to see and what people expect of you, as opposed to who you are. That's challenging. That's very, very difficult. That's something that is destroying human beings on an extremely fast track level right now. Why we got all these filters on the phones that make you look away when you're not away. We got all these clothes to make you look away and when you're not really away. We get all these surgeries to make you look away when you're really not away. We got all this stuff to make you look and to be something that you're not. Because you think that you need to be something else other than you. Because people won't like you. Make it simple. Simple language. They're not going to like you if you don't look or act or be like them, as opposed to just being you. It's hard to be yourself, but it's harder to be somebody else. You got to pick your battle here, because when you try to be someone else, you're going to run into an absolute level of emptiness inside of you, and you're not going to know how to even be able to dig yourself out of that, to bring you who you are back, because that's something that is just real powerful that I do know. Especially, I don't know how many videos ago I said that, but you can confess the name of Jesus and change, but it doesn't mean that everything around you now is going to be on board with you. They all still know who you claimed to be. But now you are wanting to be you. Now you are freeing yourself to be able to just be you. Now things are going to reject you, or you're going to reject them, because you're not the same. And you're going to start to change and be something different. And that's very, very difficult, I believe, for a lot of people, because all the people you thought were your friends, all the family you thought was like close and there for you, you're going to realize, actually, none of them were actually really there for me. They're only there for me for what they can get from me to make themselves feel better. But not to make sure that I was actually going to get better, or you're going to get better. Just what they can get. And you're going to get forced and pushed away, because you're going to start to be able to realize who you actually are. And you don't have to like move and respond and react when somebody says and does something. Because again, a reactive dog comes from, I'm just going to straight up say it, what I see it, a reactive person. You're not able to be yourself. You're like jumping to what someone wants you to be. Your dog isn't able to be itself. You're making it and putting it into be something that it's not. So it has to react. It has to respond. As opposed to just, I don't care what's going on over there. I'm fine. I don't care what's happening there. I'm fine. I don't need that to be a way for me to be good. I'm good. Just me. I'm satisfied. And that's being force-fed today as if there's something wrong with that. For me to be able to talk the way that I talk today, someone's going to say, what's wrong with that guy? As opposed to saying, what's right with him? That I don't need something to feel good. I could just be. I could just hang out. I could just exist. And everything is all right. I don't need to be into something. I don't need something to like give me all this validation of, oh, look how good you are. Look how awesome you are. To like keep going. You could just keep going and just keep being your own self. That's man. The more and more I keep making videos and doing this YouTube stuff, the more I realize why there's only some people that are really, really like, they go. Because I've seen many so far already that we started at the same time and we've been talking that they're all gone at this moment already. They're done. They're done. They're done. Because the second that the worst case, something that negative comes in, it shuts them off. It shuts them down. And then the second that the praise comes in, it also shuts you off because you're not used to that. You're not used to someone saying like, oh, that actually helped me. And that can make you so scared that it could put you on this like, you think that now every video you have to like, it puts you in extreme negative, I believe worse than people giving negative comments, because then you think you have to like make sure you do that good again. Every video you're like, oh my goodness, I gotta make it so amazing so that somebody like says that it was good. And if you have one video that's kind of like, you know, you didn't put your best into it, then you're, oh no, it's horrible to live that way. Living off of somebody has to validate you for you to do it. But it sets you up for failure because now you're gonna overanalyze everything. You're gonna say, oh my goodness, I didn't say this word right. Oh my goodness, I didn't do that right. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought and people are gonna think I'm dumb. People are gonna think I'm stupid. Because you're needing the world to validate who you are as opposed to you, your own self being able to do that. And that's information that is getting taken from us. 100 years ago, you had to do stuff. You had to like physical, like hands-on, you had to go do stuff. You had to get tired. You had to do exercise to just survive in reality. There wasn't so much of just sit down. I mean, there was none of sit down and typing on a keyboard all day because we didn't have it. There's none of that going on. Well, let me say 120 years ago. I know for a fact. 100 years ago, I think we still had like people typewriting and doing things like that. But as far as like just that's the almost today, oh my goodness, like 50% of the work today is sitting down, typing and doing stuff. Not actually like doing something of a physical type of work. And we're getting disconnected from that. And we're getting more disconnected from everything. And it's going fast track today. And that's where I see is we're having the biggest problems. Because we no longer are looking at you. You're looking at somebody else. You're no longer paying attention to what's wrong with you. You're paying attention to what's wrong with somebody else. Reality TV shows started to make people feel good, I bet. Because the Jerry Springer and the Maury Show and all these shows that came out in the 90s started to make people feel good because you could see someone else that's worse than you. The news is just wild today. Past like 30 years, it's changed incredibly because there's someone else out there that's worse and they can make you feel better. And it's sickening in reality when you really sit down into the core of why that makes you feel better. Because you're like, they're hurting more than me, so I'm good to go. No, you're not good to go. You have the same issues in you. You're just projecting it out over there, hoping that it stays over there. But no, it's actually in you. It's inside of you. It's who you are. And what we watch, what we consume, what we pay attention to, it's you. That's who you are. It's what's inside of you. Until you just understand and accept that, you're not going to learn and grow. You're not going anywhere. You're going to watch everything around you just keep struggling because everything around you is going to start to be you. And you can't stand yourself, so you're not going to be able to stand everything that's around you. Everything's just going to start to become that way because you're going to start to attract what you are. You're going to go through phases. You're going to have times that you're like, I'm going to change and I'm going to go, but you're not going to be able to do it because you're expecting someone else to be able to do that for you as opposed to you doing it your own self. And that's what I personally see that me, myself, am struggling with and struggled with my whole life. And what I see when I listen to stories of other people, what's going on with people. I've been in lots of settings that I probably shouldn't have been in, but was in to be able to hear what's going on with a lot of folks. Like the realness, not this fake, how you doing today? Oh yeah, everything's good, everything's great. No, walking into that room and listening to 50 other people say, I don't want to be alive anymore. I don't want to be here. Why don't you want to be here? And then listening to what somebody has to say about that and realizing that's going on with every single human being in reality. Some people it's stronger and other people it's less. But at some point in your life, it was stronger. And it's like we have these phases where we can go in and out of that. And my understanding of it is you don't know how to deal with yourself. You don't like, care, love yourself. You need something else to love you, to love yourself. You need to do stuff to make someone else happy so that you can love yourself, make you feel good. I got the dog out of the shelter. I spend the $12 a month. I pay for them to make you feel good. That's destructive. That's not healthy. What's healthy is figuring out how to be able to accept yourself, appreciate yourself, love your flaws, love everything about yourself, the good stuff and the bad stuff. Understand the bad stuff, understand the good stuff. Why is it good? Why is it bad? Why do you have evil thoughts? Why do you have awesome, righteous, amazing thoughts? What is it? Does that come from you or does that come from someone else trying to bring that to you? Do you like yourself because you like something about you because of what people said who you are? Or is it because that's who you are? Because someone could say to me, I don't even know what to say to that right this second. But people always have certain things to say about me. Like, am I good at working with animals? Or just someone say that to me? If someone says that to me, then I'm headed to disaster in reality because I'm not going to be able to keep up with that. But if that's just who I am, because that's what I know to be of who I am, it's easy. It's not work. And that's something simple that I love to be able to give that bit of advice to someone that's struggling with the dog right now. Understand that you are good with it because you are good with it. Make your own self know that you're good. Because I hear this so much from so many places, so many people, your leash handling skill sucks. That's why you're no good with the dog. So then you just stick with that. Yeah, I'm no good. I'm no good. I'm not good. I'm not the best. I'm not like them. I can't move like them. You're listening to the world to dictate who you are. And you got to know and say to yourself, no, I'm good at this. Why? Because I care about this. Why? Because this is what I want to be able to do. Why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you care about it? Why does it matter to you so much? Why? Sit down and think about your life for a moment instead of just watching everyone else's lives. That's what's, I believe, again, making things so challenging today because we're so focused on everyone else's life. As opposed to what the heck's going on with you, man? What's going on with you, girl? What's happening? Why are you doing this? Why are you acting this way? Why don't you want to get up and go for a walk? Why don't you want to work with the dog? Why don't you want to eat right? Why don't you want to learn more? Why don't you want to get a new skill? Why don't you want to do anything? Why? You listening to the world? Or are you wanting to listen to what you actually are wanting and desiring? Something that, man, that question, why? It's a whole statement right there. Just like no. You don't need to add extra to the no. You don't really even need to add extra to the why. Why? A lot of times just allow your alarm to go off in the morning and just say, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? Because a lot of times, man, we mess children up because we're trying to raise the child in a way of saying, I'm doing this to make sure that they're going to have a good life. You're going to mess that kid up because you don't know what that kid wants for his or her life. They're going to learn and figure that out by watching you. But what starts to happen is you're going to start to force that child to be you. And then when that kid starts to be you, depending on how you're looking at the world, more than likely you're going to start to want to reject that kid. Then you're going to have to start to say negative stuff to that kid. Then that kid's going to start to have envy and rage towards you. And then the kid's going to want to do nothing with you in the future. It's fascinating when you just really think about why are we doing what we're doing? Because if you're doing it to like, I'm going to do this for them, in a way, you don't know exactly what they want. And that's where you're going to allow something negative to come into you, to start to dictate and run and rule your world, as opposed to something positive coming to you, to be able to see the best in everything and not try to hinder it and slow it down, not try to beat it down, but just allow it to just flourish and be the best that it could possibly be. Ask why you're doing anything. Thank you. This dog here, he's a very fascinating animal. Hey, Shadow, he sleep on sleep. I'll just get my recommendations out. But if you do not have a living setting like me, have a requirement of needing livestock to be watched and cared for, please just stay the heck away from this dog. I just don't understand why someone will go get a livestock guardian dog and not have livestock for the dog to guard. It just doesn't make sense to me. And again, that's the reasons why we need to start asking why. Why? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why would I get this dog? Because of how it looks? You're headed to disaster. You're going to get it because of how it functions? If you have no function for it, what are you doing? To get it to make you feel better? Man, you're really, really, really struggling. You're going to put expectations and demands on things that you're just, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Why do we have so many anxious, scared, fearful dogs? Because we have so many anxious, scared, fearful human beings. And you're putting that on that, thinking that that's going to make you better, and it's not. It's only going to just become you. That's what I believe is most challenging to people today. Because you're so focused on something else making you good, as opposed to you, your own self, making you good. No one, nothing is going to be able to make you happy. Only you can do that. And you can do that all by yourself with my opinion of how I've been able to fast track myself with being able to understand that I don't care what you think, I'm going to do what I got to do, is a true relationship with the one guy that created it all, that's done everything to be able to make our lives be better, even though we do what we do, but to make our lives be as best as possible with what we have on these lands to be able to deal with. And that's stuff that you make a decision your own of what it is you want to be able to deal with on this planet. But I do know for me, I do not want to expect something else other than just me to be able to make me do what it is that I do. Being reactive is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And you're reactive when you don't know who you are, when you're allowing someone else to be able to just tell you to do what to do because they need to do that to make themselves feel better. And we're all doing that back and forth. And that's where we're leading to absolute destruction and the whole concept of why relationships are failing. Relationships are just failing because we are relying upon each other to give us something, as opposed to just realizing you have everything that you need. And now that person is going to only just benefit you, not do this interesting thing. I wonder if the dogs dream. Have they hooked the dogs up to the machines to see if what's going on with the brain activity? But mine, when they sleep, when they dead asleep, like he's asleep right now. He just passes out. When I'm out here relaxed, he's like in his most relaxed state. And all my dogs get to running like this when they're sleeping. It's an interesting thing. It's very interesting. It's very interesting that what I just stated, that when I'm around, the dogs really do just settle down. They just relax down. Because I'm not needing them to do that to me. I'm already just being that myself. and it doesn't put the pressure that the dog needs to perform. We're just hanging out.